Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Duel Masters on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries for the PlayStation 2. And in this episode, we'll be entering the Card Shop Tournament hosted by Chuck.
She can't enter. It's too late.
It's okay. Do you want in, Rebecca?
Thanks, Chuck. Chuck is actually a character that you can play against in the free duel mode if you cheat, because there's a specific card that you are unable to obtain without cheating, and in order to unlock Chuck, you have to obtain all the cards in the game.
So you have to cheat.
Yeah, you have to cheat in order to unlock Chuck. You'll notice that I don't actually show off any of the free duel stuff in this game, mostly because it doesn't actually progress the campaign at all, and the stuff that you get in free duel doesn't carry over to any of your campaign settings. So, yeah, it's not a thing. It's not a thing that I just bothered to show off. No, he cast Ghost Touch, which allows him to get nothing because he didn't have anything in his fucking graveyard. Idiot.
Touched by the grave.
Yeah. As Pascal is mentioning here, I had recording problems for this part. Specifically for a good portion of the campaign. For some fucking reason, my PCSX2 was having issues when it came to enemy cutscenes. Or not enemy cutscenes, but attack cutscenes. And because it was having issues with attack cutscenes, every once in a while it would just fully crash on me. And it was that time that I learned that my PCSX2 was actually running the Japanese BIOS. But yeah, that is the story of, that is the small anecdote that I have regarding the difficulties I had recording this. They weren't honestly that big of crashes, to be fair, but they were annoying enough, you know?
Something universal about games crashing that brings all games under a similar criteria of scrutiny. Because I also had suffered a game crash relatively recently, and it was on my PS4 of all things, saying, "What? My application crashed, but my high score. It can't save my high score if it doesn't get to the end screen. No."
All right. So what we're going to show off in this part specifically is one of the more powerful things that a good portion of the Liquid people have access to, specifically Aqua Knight and Aqua Hulkus. When they are destroyed in battle by the result of fighting a monster, they get bounced back to your hand, and this is a good thing, certainly, because it allows Water to have dedicated answers to Dianoric specifically and other blockers. It honestly isn't as good as it's supposed to be because these monsters end up having subpar stats. Like Aqua Knight is a 4,000 monster that costs 5, so it's really difficult to actually use him for anything, you know, actually viable. I'm running him, mind you, because it's a relatively good recursive trick that allows me to win this fight specifically really nicely, but it's not exactly the best of things. What say you, Mr. Cloud?
Well, at that point, you're paying for a body bag every turn, and an expensive one at that.
Yes, and he is a rather expensive body bag, but he does get the ability to fire back, which most body bags do not.
How about board wipes? Do you have any board wipes in your deck?
No, because water and fire don't get access to them. That is only partially true. Fire gets one of the only board wipes in the entire game, actually, with what is it, Burst Shot? I think it's called Burst Shot. And what Burst Shot does is it wipes out every monster on the field with 2,000 or less attack points.
One of my TV screens has been destroyed.
But yeah, because it's 2,000 or less, it's actually really good against aggro and nobody else. And because you don't really want to try a control game against aggro all that often, you usually want to play aggro against aggro. You know, that way your aggro is better than their aggro. It's not exactly the best of things.
And it looks like from here we win the game.
We do. Volcano Dawn gets blocked by Dianoric, and then Brawler Xyler finishes off Hooper.
Talk about falling asleep on the job.
Go, Brawler Zyler. Flamethrower attack. Yay. Alright, there's the first win on the card tournament that we have to do. Of 3.
What I don't understand is why they have to play the "You Lost" music when the AI opponent loses the game.
Because all 3 of these cutscenes are directly tied to each other.
Like, it makes sense in the context of, you know, human versus human dueling, but when it's human versus computer player, well, I could care less that the computer player lost the game. To hell with its feelings. It has none.
Oh, come on. Evan has feelings. They're Evans of persistence, mind you, but...
Sounds like they're just priming us to lose eventually, saying, yeah, this is the music you're going to hear, and you're going to hate
Evan.
it.
Nice to see you again. So, do you actually have any experience with a Duel Master / Kaijudo?
Nope.
Really? Man,
Nope, this is my first exposure to it, is this game in this series.
Man, that is kind of sad and interesting. Yeah, as Pascal mentions here, I pretty much always end up putting Thought Probe into my mana, specifically because if it doesn't end up in my shields, I'm just straight up never going to cast it. Because in order for Thought Probe to work, you have to have 3 creatures on both sides of the field, and if you meet that requirement, then you get to draw 3 cards.
Yay.
It is a great draw spell, I will grant it that, but since you have to have parity with your opponent in order for it to actually resolve, I never get to resolve it, so...
Aqua Jolter.
Aqua Jolter is very nice.
Aqua Shooter.
The Aqua Shooter isn't anywhere near as nice, but it is a blocker that can actually attack, so... Now, Water actually has the most of those, blockers that can actually attack. I think Darkness only gets Marrow Ooze. Fire gets, like, no blockers at all. Nature... Let me think. Does Nature get any blockers? Nature's got to have some blocker, but I can't remember what it is.
Well, I would imagine you would be hard-pressed to play this game without monsters.
Yes, but you would not be hard-pressed to play this game without spells, to be perfectly honest. The spells in this game are interesting, but not as effective as they're supposed to be. No, honestly, my 2 favorite decks in this are Liquid People Water and Shield Trigger 5-color. Shield Trigger 5-color is a thing that only partially works, mind you, but when it does work, it is so very awesome. It is so very awesome to pull off. So we're going to win next turn because he doesn't have the ability to take down our Brawler Zylers. So draw as many cards as you want, Evan. You're not going to put down 7 blockers this upcoming turn. So.
My deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba.
It does have King Coral, which is pretty bad, but the real reason that we're actually running King Coral is because Rebecca kind of wants to transition out of Liquid People into Leviathans, and one of the best Leviathans in the game, King Banner, is an evolution card that requires Leviathans. Thing is, all of the other Leviathans in the game are terribly expensive, but King Coral counts as a Leviathan, so you can evolve King Banner from King Coral. Yeah, Legendary Banner from King Coral, rather.
Get over here.
Yo-Yo of Doom! Love the Yo-Yo of Doom. It is so cool.
So far we have concentrated on just one win condition. Take out all your opponent's shields and then tap them directly with a creature. But are there any alternate win cons in this game?
I believe that you can actually defeat your opponent via deck out. Doing so is fucking impossible, but if you manage to do it, then, you know, good on ya.
So if they go to their draw step, and you draw a card at the start of each turn, and they have no cards left in their deck, they automatically lose the game.
It's you and
yes.
Sean in the finals, Rebecca.
No.
Yeah, I would not want to see a game go on that long.
Yeah, especially because Water is one of the only cards that actually has consistent card draw in it. Life gets a single creature that allows them to draw whenever it attacks, Miss Reyes. But Miss Reyes is a 2,000 power creature, so it dies to any blockers. Like, any good blockers, at least. And this particular AI opponent, Sean, is in fact the most important AI opponent in the game. Because, as Pascodet mentions here, this is the guy that I end up grinding on for any one of my campaigns that I need to go through, with the exception of Flynn, because Flynn has problems taking him down. But everyone else, yeah, I use Sean for my grind as my grinding target. This is because Sean has actually got a much higher reputation point payout than pretty much any other duelist that I can easily find in the game. And he's relatively easy to beat, with the exception of if he gets out his string of blockers. This time he only got out Emerald Grass, so we should be able to take him down. He's going to evolve his Burning Mane into Bark Whip next turn, but, you know, I'll be able to take down at least a shield by then, so... we are ahead in the shield race.
I see we have found our new favorite bonfire.
Alright, Bark Whip is actually really interesting because he, as long as he is tapped, gives all of your nature creatures a plus 2,000 power bonus, which is honestly really fucking good. What it is not, however, is actually a good card that you want to lead with. You want to play a bunch of creatures and then attack with Bark Whip.
Right, so your opponent will use up their more powerful creatures, not on the guy who's conferring the stat bonus, but on the creatures that, well... So I read, so as long as it's tapped, it gives a nature bonus to other creatures you own. So that sounds like it would be more effective during your blocking step.
Well, no. Mostly because, unfortunately for you, well, Bark Whip can't block anything. And as I just pointed out, nature doesn't have blockers. So yeah. Cast Brain Serum, first time we've actually gotten to cast it, and we didn't get anything that we could play.
Yes, sometimes it's not a matter of the cards and abilities you have, but the order in which you can make those effects resolve.
Yes. We should be winning this turn unless he's got Holy Awe, but I don't think Sean actually runs Holy Awe, so... Go Immortal Baron. And then finish him off with Aqua Shooter.
Now fire at his stupid head. Coup de grace.
And...
Water balls.
Boink, boink. Yay! We beat Sean and finished the card tournament. Meaning we get another card piece. That puts us up to 3, I believe. You can actually check which card pieces that you have obtained so far by going into the menu, but it's not fucking important. You'll get the same card pieces. You'll get the same card pieces in the same order every time you play through the campaign. So
1,600 points,
allowing us to advance to professional, which is very nice for us.
Yay.
Unfortunately, I do believe that I needed to go grind on Sean directly after this because the next major story event requires us to be advanced. And, yeah, I ended up skipping the advanced title and going all the way to Master, but...
One. She plays with a
killer instinct.
Just like the widow.
The widow?
The widow!
Thanks, Chuck.
Savor this win, Beckhams.
You and your friends
Beckhams!
in the big tournament.
Yeah, Jalen really doesn't like Rebecca, so he continuously taunts her with a fake name. And in the next episode, we will cut past a majority of our grinding. At least I think I cut past a majority of our grinding. Be safe, everybody. Bye, Sean.
You win this day, Pookie, but I will be back, Schnookums.